Good evening. Welcome to Ebenezer Elementary School's open house. My name is Dean Bozman, principal of Ebenezer Elementary School. Following this video will be some information about Ebenezer, and I'd like to give you some highlights of what's contained in that video. There'll be teacher introductions, information about specials for this year, including specific information about our 4-day and 5-day cycle rotations, information about parent drop-off and parent pickup, information about the PTE, Parents and Teachers of Ebenezer, information about general school procedures, and other important topics. Welcome to Ebenezer Elementary, our open house, September 30th, 2021, where we've been educating future leaders since 1929. Here I'll introduce myself, secretaries, and also our head teacher. So my name is Dean Bozman, principal of Ebenezer Elementary School. I'm assisted by Mr. Baer, our PE teacher, who is also our head teacher. And in the office, we have Mrs. Leiter, secretary to the principal, and Mrs. Nice, the school secretary. Here are some tidbits about me. I grew up in Delaware County, Pennsylvania. I earned a bachelor's degree in business management from St. Joseph's University in 1994. I taught in the school district of Philadelphia as a first grade literacy intern. I earned a master's degree in elementary education and principal certification from Widener University in 2003. Then taught 3rd, 5th, and 6th grade with the Harrison Township School District in Mullica Hill, New Jersey. Spent 5 years as the Cornwall-Lebanon School District's Federal Programs Coordinator, and I'm beginning my 9th year as Ebenezer's principal. I earned my doctoral degree from Immaculata University in 2017. I live in Myerstown with my wife and 4 children. Bridget is a junior at St. Joe's University in Philly. My son Dean is a senior at Elko. My daughter Kate is in 9th grade, and my daughter Leah is in 4th. And I'm an avid runner. I completed the Philly Half Marathon in 2006 and 2007, and the Philly Marathon in 2007. I'm a big fan of college basketball, especially the St. Joe Hawks and the Philadelphia Big Five. And when I'm not at school, I enjoy spending time with my family, hunting, and fishing. Here are some quick facts about Ebenezer. We currently have 545 students. You'll see there the numbers: kindergarten 82, first grade 74, second grade 91, third grade 89, 4th grade 85, and 5th grade 98. In our learning support, autistic support classroom, we have 11, and between our 2 autistic support classrooms, we have 15. We also host a YMCA preschool and a YMCA SAC program. We have a Cornwall-Lebanon learning support, autistic support, and intermediate classroom. We have 2 Cornwall-Lebanon autistic support classrooms that are primary, 42 professional staff, and 29 support staff. Here's an introduction into our district administration. We have our superintendent, Dr. Philip Demensick, and our director of elementary education, Dr. Tracy Clemens, and our Cornwall-Lebanon mission, empowering students to reach their individual potential. Now I'd like to take time to introduce our teachers. We'll start with kindergarten. We have Mrs. Stair, Mrs. Dietz, our extended day kindergarten teacher, Mrs. Dissinger, and Mrs. Nelson. Now our first grade teachers. We have Mrs. Dove, Mrs. Tilley, Mrs. Hitz, and Miss Zimmerman. For second grade, we have Mrs. Eisman, Mrs. Graby, Mrs. Bridenstine, and Mrs. Gilmartin. In third grade, we have Mr. Hugar, Mr. Cooley, Miss Bombach, and Mrs. Spicer. In fourth grade, we have Mrs. Castle, Mrs. Cuck, Mr. Miller, and Mrs. Smith. Now our fifth grade teachers. We have Mrs. Bickle, Mrs. Bixler, Miss Natal, and Mrs. Wolf. Our special area teachers. We have Mr. Baer, our PE teacher, Mrs. Schomp, our librarian, Mrs. Dundor, our music teacher, Mr. Sobel, our technology instructor, and Mrs. Strack, our art teacher. Here's a little bit something to share with you about specials for this school year. During marking periods 1 and 3, roughly, it be not exactly on those days that we switch, but on marking periods 1 and 3, we will have a 4-day cycle: art, library, music, and PE. And then for marking periods 2 and 4, we will switch to a 5-day cycle, and we will include technology. So in marking periods 2 and 4, it will be art, library, music, PE, and technology. And teachers will be communicating with you closer to the end of the marking period, so you know your child's schedule for the next marking period when we switch to a 5-day schedule, because it will not be exactly the same as it was for the first marking period. So look for that info to come sometime late October. Next, we have our learning support, gifted enrichment, and autistic support teachers. We have Miss Ginder, Mrs. Richwine, Mrs. Donachie, Mrs. Cyphers, Mrs. Gracely, and Mrs. Burrows. Next, I'll introduce Mrs. O'Donnell, our learning facilitator. Although she's not here right now, she will be back sometime around early November. And when do children need a school psychologist like Mrs. O'Donnell? Here are just a list of some of possible examples: learning difficulties, behavior concerns, attention problems, problems at home or with peers, fears about various topics, depression and other mental health issues, coping with crisis and trauma, poverty, violence, or other life-changing events, and advocating for their learning and mental health needs. Now our intervention teachers: ESL, speech, and reading specialists. We have Mrs. Messinger, our ESL teacher, Mrs. Widener, our speech and language pathologist, Mrs. Williams, Mrs. Wenrick, and Mrs. Smith are our reading intervention specialists. In the health office, we have Miss Liu, and she's assisted by Mrs. Davis. We have our head custodial maintenance, Mr. Miller, and he's assisted by Mrs. Mason, Mr. Bensing, Mrs. Hull, and Mrs. Bayshore. Cafeteria Manager is Mrs. Kirsch. She's assisted by Mrs. Petruska and Mrs. Kiefer. Kids Heart Challenge is a big thing here at Ebenezer. Last year, we raised $46,769. And just a couple of weeks ago, Mr. Bear and I learned that we were number 10 in the United States for elementary schools for the amount of money we raised for Kids Heart Challenge. So congratulations to everyone at Ebenezer on a job well done. Please don't park in the bus lane. Be courteous to our bus and van drivers by not parking in the bus lane directly in front of school between 8:30 and 9, and between 11:38 a.m. and 1 p.m. That's when our afternoon kindergarten buses are picking up students and dropping them back off for the afternoon. And then at the end of the day, between 3 p.m. and 4 p.m. Morning drop-off procedure. Students being dropped off must be dropped off at the back of school and are not to be dropped off at any other location. Please follow the posted signs to the playground. Students cannot be dropped off prior to 8:45. End of day parent pickup procedures. Options: have your child or children placed on the everyday pickup list for the entire school year and complete the appropriate form. Contact the school office by phone only no later than 2:30 p.m. to add your child or children to the pickup list, but we will also accept written notes sent into school, but we will not accept emails. Phone calls for student pickup after 2:30 p.m. will be picked up in the main office. Parent pickup takes place on the playground, similar to parent drop-off. We ask that parents and guardians picking up students line up by the playground gate no earlier than 3:15 p.m. All individuals picking up students must have photo ID and be identified on the student's emergency contact list. Parent pickup will run from 3:25 to 3:40, and the end time is approximate. Students not picked up by 3:40 will be picked up in the main office. Parents, guardians in the pickup line who are not on the list will be directed around to the main office to sign out their child or children. Here are some signs around school that you may see, like for visitor parking, YMCA parking, or general directional signage. School safety is an important item here. We monitor the entrance in the building through a sally port. All doors are secured. Staff wear a visitor's badge or an employee badge for those folks, so everyone is identified. Picture ID required for student pickup. We have drills such as fire, severe weather, and intruder. Our staff were trained in the past in ALICE, which is a program for the intruder drill. We have interior and exterior cameras, and we utilize a program called Schoolgate Guardian. Here you would buzz in on the left. You'll see you buzz into the front door. You'll go into another little room, the sally port, where you'll need to buzz in again after you've checked in with the Schoolgate Guardian system. Once you're in the office, you can check in with the secretary. If you're staying there, that's fine. Or if you're proceeding into the school, you can do so after checking in with the secretary. Additional safety measures, we have sally port entrances, security cameras, interior and exterior. We have armed school resource officers, Cornwall 11 and police vehicles. We have improved communication capabilities and the Schoolgate Guardian system. Schoolgate Guardian, all visitors are required to check in at the kiosk with photo ID and print a visitor's badge. You will be directed to check in at the main office. Your photo ID will be checked for anyone signing out a student. Check out at the kiosk or counter, and the system tracks visitors daily. We have a sensory walk or path on the first floor and second floor. This is a place where students needing to get a little bit of movement activity can do so through a variety of movement activities. Volunteers, we're excited to have our volunteers back this year. In order to do so, you'll need some of these items. To get a volunteer badge, you need a child abuse clearance, PA State Police clearance, your FBI. Most of these are free, and FBI can be sort of waived, so to speak, if you've lived in Pennsylvania for more than 10 years. The arrest conviction report and certification form, a TB test, complete the mandated reporter training, and sign the volunteer agreement, which basically pertains to confidentiality. Attendance matters. Students are allowed 10 days of lawful absences. That includes parent ill notes and educational trips. Once we get to 7 days of these allowed days used, you'll get a 7-day letter just letting you know you're getting close to 10. And then when you hit 10 days, at that point, all other absences need a doctor's note or they will be unexcused. General procedures here at school. School doors open at 8:45. There are no staff here before that to supervise kids. Picture ID is required when signing out students. Please send an excuse note to school with your child after they've been absent. Send in a written note for early dismissal. Contact our secretaries if you wish to register for Skyward Family Access. We prefer that students refrain from bringing expensive toys or electronics to school. If your child's going to be out for an extended time due to a trip, please complete and submit the educational trip form. And days beyond what's allowable will be marked as unexcused. And I know it's just late September, but have a plan for your child, or make sure your child knows what the plan is for early dismissals due to snow, etc. We've already experienced that already this year, so make sure your child knows the plan. I talked about this just a little while ago, but if you want to sign up for Skyward Family Access, contact the school office with photo ID to register for Skyward Family Access. Here are our school-wide behavior expectations, our Ebenezer Creed, and our Students' Bill of Rights. These are read or announced every day on EMN or Ebenezer Morning News and are posted in classrooms throughout the school. Student recognition during excellent events includes things such as Shining Star, birthdays, and our Principal's 100 Club, in addition to praise awards. Breakfast and lunch. Breakfast is served daily in the cafeteria and eaten in the classroom. Lunch is served and eaten in the cafeteria. There's a packer meal option. This is if your child packs lunch, but they want a little something more. And this would consist of a milk, hot or cold vegetable, and a fruit. Must be 3 items. For the current school year, all students can get a breakfast and or lunch at no charge. If your child wants extras, you'll need to deposit money in their account, send it in an envelope with their name and PIN number on it. And we also encourage families to complete the free reduced meal application. Each year, the district continues to maintain our buildings. And if you have a child in either second grade or 5th grade, this is you're on the far side of school. All of the flooring there has been replaced with laminate flooring and carpet squares. So if you have a moment, check that out. The plan is over the next 2 years to replace the flooring in the A wing, 1st and 2nd floors as well. If you are on Twitter, you can follow Ebenezer Elementary School at Ebenezer ELSCH. Follow us on Twitter. Here are some of the online resources available to students. We have Study Island, Exact Path, Vocabulary, Schoology, and Brain Pop. And most of these are accessible to students through Clever when they log in. If you have a concern, here's how to handle them. If it's a transportation concern, talk to the building administrator, okay, to sure see how this goes down. And then, based on that, maybe it moves to the elementary or secondary director and then on to the superintendent. So we work through this to see if we can correct it. Student concerns, talk to the teacher. Next would be, myself, the building principal. After that, it would be our director of elementary education and the superintendent. So we sort of work through a chain or process, hopefully solving the problem, sooner rather than later if we can do so. This next thing is Act 339. This is where we've placed an emphasis on basically letting students know that there's opportunities out there or careers out there besides those who just are your college bound careers. So this includes a trip to the Lebanon County CTC to see what courses are available there. We've had a career day in the past, once again, where we will have people come in and talk about their career and try to make sure we have some of the trades in there to show students these careers as well. The PTE is the Parents and Teachers of Ebenezer. It's a partnership between teachers, parents, and the school community aimed at enhancing the educational program by providing enrichment activities. The PTE funds some of the following: field trips, planners, assemblies, author visits, 5th grade yearbook, Apple Crunch Day, and many other programs that benefit the students of Ebenezer Elementary. Here are some of the ways you can get involved. If you're not sure, make sure to check out the PTE's table tonight. We are always looking for more volunteers. At Ebenezer, we have our Ebenezer Falcon Pride, which is personal responsibility in daily school efforts. Upcoming events here at school, we have a PTE meeting next week at October 6th, 6:30 p.m. We have Columbus Day, no school for students on that Monday, the 11th. We have a book fair coming up the 14th to the 20th with a family night on the 15th. Falcon Foundation applications are due the 15th. Apple Crunch Day is on October 21st. And Red Ribbon Week is October 25th through the 29th. The Falcon Foundation was incorporated in 2000. It's committed to connecting the community, students, and families of the Cornwall-Lebanon School District through funding or partial funding of educational and enrichment opportunities for all people in the Cornwall-Lebanon community. Applications can be located on the district website. The deadline for fall applications is October 15th. Awards range from $50 to $1,000, and they include workshops, camps, and enrichment activities. You can check out the Cornwall-Lebanon School District's website, www.clsd.k12.pa.us. The schedule for tonight is the first visitation to a homeroom is 5:30 to 5:45, second one 5:55 to 6:10, third 6:20 to 6:35, and finally 6:45 to 7. When you are not in a homeroom visitation, you may visit other classrooms such as ESL, speech, reading intervention, learning support specials. If you have questions, here's our email addresses for myself, Mrs. Leiter, and Mrs. Nice, and the school phone number is listed here as well. Thank you for attending tonight's open house at Ebenezer Elementary School. Your participation is the beginning of a partnership between school and home to help your child be successful. Once again, thank you for attending tonight.